Coming next in Youth Folio is our face-to-face section. We interviewed the Minister of State for Home Affairs for you.
Welcome to our face-to-face section. Today we have with us Mr. Kiren Rijiju, Minister of State for Home Affairs. Mr. Rijiju hails from Arunachal Pradesh, and as such, people of the entire Northeast have great expectations from him, especially because he is a son of the soil and is well acquainted with the many challenges of the region. The young minister himself is keenly aware of these expectations and takes every opportunity possible to remind the disgruntled people of the state to refrain from violence and the misguided militants to return to the mainstream. We started off by asking him about his background.
I did my schooling in Arunachal Pradesh only till class 12. Then I joined Hansraj College for my BA, and I did my LLB from the University of Delhi, that is from the Faculty of Law. My father was MLA in 70s. He was amongst the first council member when Arunachal was still an agency. Then they were Pradesh council member when it was union territory. Then they were converted into MLA later on in 1975. So from the beginning, my father was there in politics. So I later, after my education, I joined the political field.
What are your priorities as Minister of State for Home Affairs?
As a minister in the Home Affairs, it is our always priority to secure peace in the country. So to secure peace, you must provide security to the country people. And we have a greater mandate to take care of the entire boundaries of the country, whether it is coastal or inland. We have a great mandate. You know, this ministry is very important.
The erstwhile UPA government started talks with one faction of Alpha. Now, would your government continue the talks, review the situation, or change the interlocutor?
Now, talks are going on. In some of the areas, the talks are progressing well. And some of the areas, it is not really achieving the target. Nevertheless, I will see that wherever review is necessary, we will see that whatever could be done so that we can achieve the objective. Talks which prolong for too long may not be in the interest of anybody. Not in the interest of the rebel groups, nor in the interest of the country. So, whatever talks are going on, it is within the framework of the Constitution of India, and everybody should maintain. The issue of Alpha is quite intrigue, because one faction led by Paresh Barua is really creating trouble. It means he is out of the country and hiding in various positions in multiple countries. So, we have also conveyed to him that he should come to the table, otherwise he will gain nothing, because just troubling on people forever, it means nothing, because India is a huge country. If you want to fight the might of the nation, it is anybody's guess. You cannot win. This is a mighty country. By prolonging your war against the sovereignty of India, you are actually troubling your own people. It actually makes, your own people suffer a lot.
Talking about prolonged talks, the longest duration of talks has been with the NSCN IM. What is the situation as of today, and when would a new interlocutor be appointed by your government?
We are going to appoint new interlocutor for Nagaland for talk with the NSCN, because that is the most prolonged talk which is there on the pipeline. And there were already MOAs signed with various groups in Assam and elsewhere. These are going to be implemented very soon. Some of the talks have completed the process, and we are going to sign it formally.
As many as 6 groups of Assam are presently demanding scheduled tribe status. What is your government's stand on them?
I cannot declare now, but I am very open to the idea. I am ready to negotiate and put before the government So you can take a positive note out of that. I am very open to that.
Developmental projects have been stalled in many parts of the country, including in the Northeast, due to environmental concerns. Now, you would agree that many environmental concerns are justified. How would you tackle the twin concerns?
Environment protection or the identity and the human rights of the indigenous people are prime. It is the supreme interest of the people which we cannot just brush aside. At the same time, we cannot remain underdeveloped by not exploiting our natural resources. So the developmental process must continue, but it must continue in sustainable manner, taking care of the people's interests and safeguarding the environmental protection. So if some people are guided or misled by some agencies from abroad or from outside the region by playing or wiping up the sentiments of the local people, thereby causing the process of development, then we should not discourage that. I'm not saying that we are going to use force, but we'll discourage that. And there are state governments which law and order is the state subject. So they should also see that this in the guise of local indigenous protection group, we should not suffer in our agenda of development, because we need power, we need roads, we need industrial production. If we do not tap our natural resources, or we do not use it positively, then we cannot grow.
Bangladesh is a friendly country which has often handed over cadres and leaders of militant groups apprehended in their country. And yet, infiltration from Bangladesh is a big concern. How would you tackle this?
It is a national problem, we already said before. And in our election agenda, we have already stated that illegal migrants coming into our northeastern region is not the issue of Northeast alone, or it is not the agenda of BJP, but it is a national problem, which was also addressed by the Governor of Assam and the Supreme Court of India, saying that it amounts to an act of aggression. It is an act of aggression against our sovereignty, and it relates to our future security. So we will see that the national, that citizen register is maintained, and the process of deportation can start. But deportation can start only after proper identification of the illegal migrants. For that, a process has to begin. We will coordinate with the state government, and we will start it, we will do it. But we must be very particular that no indigenous people is suffered because of that act, because it is not a religious based or a community based operation. It is totally in the national interest.
What about Anup Chetia? When would he be repatriated?
Everything is in the know of the government of India. We know who is where, everything is tracked. If required, it can be brought anytime. So, but as I said, that we don't want to act in haste. We want to work everything in confidence of the people. That is why we are seeking the support of the Bangladeshi government. We have a friendly government in Bangladesh, so it is, in a way, supporting in government of India's various concerns.
Lastly, as a minister from the Northeast in Delhi, do you support an anti-racism law?
We have not received the report finally yet. They will table next month. Anti-racial law is a wider subject. We cannot make a sweeping comment on that issue, because India is a multiracial country. It is not one race domination, the Dravidian, the Aryan, the Mongoloid. Actually it's a mix. As a minister, I will ensure that racial discrimination doesn't take place in this country. That is the priority.
Thank you very much for answering all our questions.
It's time now for a short break. Stay with us, we'll be back with sports.